I don't understand. I thought you said the tank was full. Mary yelled, looking at her husband as he walked out of the car, slamming the door closed. It's not gas, he yelled back, popping the hood, looking inside the engine. So, what is it? She grunted, angry at the man. They were deep in an argument when the car had broken down. He pulled off to the side of the road, with the car refusing to start. It's a night to Christmas, and we're still miles from town. Damn it, Jared. What are we going to do? Well, yelling at the top of your damn lungs isn't going to help, he yelled back. He checked the battery and the oil. Then he walked back to the driver's seat and tried to start the engine. As he tried, the battery sparked and released smoke. Shit. Mary got out of the vehicle as the smoke began filling up the car. She looked around as she stepped outside, instantly feeling the cold from the snow all around. Jesus, what are we going to do now? Jared got to the road and looked around. He recalled a small motel on their way here. It was one that wasn't on the map, but it was better than nothing. There were no other options for them, and spending the night in the car was not an option, as the cold was too much. Jared swore to himself and then turned to his wife. He could see the frown on her face, and knew she was already upset. Look, it's not my fault, but we won't make it to town in this storm. We should head back to that inn we saw, and spend the night there. They began walking until they got to the inn. The name on the front seemed to have been frozen over, and Jared couldn't read what was on the front. It didn't matter. The wind chill had gotten so bad, they had to rush into the building. As they walked in, the door hit an overhead bell. Mary looked up, raising an eyebrow, as they quickly began dusting the snow off themselves. It was a lot warmer on the inside, and they welcomed it gladly. Jared walked over to the front counter, seeing that there was no one behind it. Mary walked beside him, looking around at the building. It was quite old and decrepit, but it was better than the outside, and they just have to manage it. Mary grunted, knowing she wanted a better place. She wanted to be home at the least, but her husband had ruined everything. Jared noticed the bell on the counter, and he pressed his palm against it. Good evening, and welcome. How are we doing this evening? Jared and Mary jumped, stunned by the woman who had seemingly materialized behind them. She was an old lady, with a keen smile on her face. Jared shook his head. Jesus, you scared us. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. Would you like a room? And perhaps some hot water to bathe? She asked, smiling. Hot water to bathe? How old is this place? Mary asked the old lady. Oh, we don't need the water. Just beds, Jared replied, earning a scowl from Mary. The sound of the bell was still ringing in their heads, vibrating slowly. The woman nodded. Right this way. The woman led them up to their rooms and wished them good night. As they opened the door, a bell above their own door rang as well, sending the sound through their ears. Mary walked over to the small bed and sat on it, instantly frowning. Jared, I told you we should take a flight, but you wanted to drive. You wanted to take a frickin' drive. Now look at us. I wanted to take a drive because it's cheaper, Jared yelled back. It's not like you're contributing anything to this relationship. I'd be the one paying for everything. Mary gasped. You little shit. At least I actually have a job that can make money. I'm not some self-employed arsehole. Your job is sleeping with your frickin' boss. You think I don't know that's why you want us to get home quickly? I saw the text on your phone. You want to go give him a Christmas gift, you little slut? Jared turned around. The hell is that? They turned to the bell at the top of the door, ringing slowly. Jared walked up to it and grabbed it, stopping it from ringing. Mary laughed, pulling the blanket over her shoulder and getting in bed. As Jared let go of the bell, it began ringing again. Mary shook her head. At least I have someone who can actually satisfy me in bed. You're a... Mary groaned, with the sound hitting heavily. She turned to the bell, looking at it. It was getting louder and louder, and no matter what Jared did to stop it, the ringing wouldn't stop. He pulled away and turned back to Mary, looking at her confused. He shook his head and reached for the door, looking to go find the old woman. But as he tried the door, it refused to open. He pulled on it, trying the keys. As much as he tried, nothing seemed to work. The ringing got louder and louder, causing Mary to put her hands over her ears. "The hell is going on?" she yelled at the top of her voice. "Open the damn door." "I'm trying," Jared replied. "Ah," he grunted, kicking the door. As he kicked again and again, the door refused to budge. He looked back at the bell and grabbed the chair. He swung the chair at the bell at the top of the door, knocking the bell out. But even with the bell out, the ringing only got worse. Jared watched Mary, seeing as blood began pouring out of her ears. He tried to speak, but the sound was just too much, slamming against his head. Mary fell to the side of the bed, shutting her eyes in pain as she tried to force the pain out. Jared felt his brain begin to hurt from the pain, blood dripping from his ears. He turned to look out the window, and somehow, he noticed the old lady, standing just outside it. She had a smile on her face, along with a Christmas hat and a small bell that she rang. Jared couldn't hear what she said, but as he began to lose consciousness, he read her lips, and figured out what she just said. "Merry Christmas."
Subscribe today, or